He says you were neglectful,
No.
pill popping,
No.
welfare collecting.
No.
I mean, at the end of the day, she's my mother, and I love her because she's my mother.
The hip-hop world is typical of rap rivalries and family feuds, and Eminem's world was no different. However, his greatest battle, which he couldn't win, wasn't against other rappers but against the woman who gave him life. Debbie Nelson's passing from lung cancer unfolded like a ticking time bomb, complete with raw confessions, bitter regrets, and missed chances that would leave everyone speechless. Will Eminem's heart-wrenching confession finally heal the deep wounds of his past? And what made Dre say those 7 words that sent shockwaves through the entire music industry? Join us as we find out what 50 Cent, Dre, and Eminem said that has left everyone in shock. The final chapter. The loud beep of hospital machines echoed through the cold corridors as Debbie Nelson, mother of rap legend Eminem, faced her toughest battle yet. At 69, the news hit like a thunderbolt. Advanced lung cancer had taken root in her body, leaving her with precious little time to mend the broken bridges with her famous son. In the quiet moments between treatments at the cancer center, Debbie's mind wandered through the maze of their complicated relationship. Though Eminem had quietly paid her medical bills and living expenses for years, the invisible wall between them stood tall and unshakable. Their last real conversation felt like a lifetime ago, buried under years of public feuds and private pain. As summer faded into fall 2024, Debbie made a bold choice. Breaking years of silence, she began sharing her story with the world. Her voice, now softer than before, carried the weight of unspoken words as she talked about her disease. She worried most about her sons, Marshall, popularly known as Eminem, and Nathan, and her grandchildren. The thought of cancer's hereditary shadow looming over their futures kept her awake at night. Between chemotherapy sessions, she recorded video messages, hoping her words would reach beyond the static of their past conflicts. "Without congratulating you on your induction to the Hall of Fame," she said in one heartfelt moment, "I love you very much. I knew you'd get there." Each word seemed carefully chosen, like stepping stones across a rushing river of regret. The news of her condition spread quickly through the hip-hop community. Fans held their breath, wondering if this would be the moment that finally brought mother and son together. But years of distrust had grown deep roots. While Eminem ensured his mother received the best medical care money could buy, the emotional distance remained vast and seemingly unbridgeable. Some close to the family say Eminem never knew just how serious his mother's condition had become. The same walls that had protected him from past hurts now kept him from seeing the full truth of her declining health. By September 2024, time had run out. Debbie Nelson passed away quietly, her death confirmed by Eminem's representative Dennis Dennehy. At 69, she left behind a complex legacy. To fans, she had been the villain in Eminem's hard-hitting lyrics, the subject of songs that laid bare their family's wounds. But in death, a different picture emerged of a flawed mother who had loved imperfectly and hoped for redemption until her final breath. Her funeral was scheduled for December 10, 2024, at Maya Hofer Funeral Home in St. Joseph, Missouri. As arrangements were made, the media buzzed with speculation about whether Eminem would attend, whether he would speak, and whether this final chapter might somehow heal the scars of their troubled past. In the end, Debbie Nelson's story wasn't just about being Eminem's mother. It was about the high price of fame, the weight of unforgiven mistakes, and the bitter truth that sometimes, despite our deepest wishes, time runs out before we can make things right. Her passing left the hip-hop world holding its breath, waiting to see how one of music's most complicated mother and son relationships would write its final verse. But what dark storms in Debbie Nelson's past shaped the mother who would raise one of rap's most controversial figures? And how did a little girl's broken dreams lead to one of music's most painful family stories? Childhood to motherhood. On a dusty military base in Salina, Kansas on January 6, 1955, a baby girl named Debbie Ray Nelson opened her eyes to a world that would show her little mercy. Her father wore an Air Force uniform with pride, while her mother mixed drinks at the local bar trying to make ends meet. For 9 years, this military life was all young Debbie knew: strict routines, moving quarters, and the constant roar of aircraft overhead. Then her world cracked. Her parents' marriage shattered like a dropped plate, leaving sharp pieces that would cut deep into Debbie's childhood. The new man her mother brought home turned their house into a battlefield. His heavy footsteps on the stairs meant trouble, sending Debbie and her siblings scrambling for safety on the back porch, where they often slept under thin blankets, counting stars instead of sheep. Going to school became her only escape, but even there, peace proved fleeting. The other kids whispered about the girl who came to class in wrinkled clothes, who jumped at loud noises, and whose lunch bag often stayed empty. In the library's quiet, she dreamed up stories of a different life, one where families stayed whole and homes felt safe. At 15, Debbie thought she'd found her ticket out by Chop. Marshall Bruce Mathers Jr. with his guitar and wild dreams seemed like a hero from one of her stories. They married on September 20th, 1970. They were just two kids who thought love could fix everything. Together, they joined a local band called Daddy Warbucks, playing in smoky bars where Debbie would sing her heart out, hoping each note might carry her closer to a better life. But the fairy tale crashed when baby Marshall III arrived on October 17, 1972. For 73 endless hours, Debbie fought through labor in a small Missouri hospital. Blood poisoning turned her system toxic. Seizures racked her body. As she slipped into a coma, doctors raced to save both mother and child. Her tiny son weighed barely 5 pounds, small enough to fit in a shoebox. The real battle began when Marshall Jr. walked away 18 months later, leaving nothing but empty promises and unpaid bills. Debbie found herself alone with a toddler, bouncing between relatives' homes in Missouri and Michigan. Some nights, dinner meant splitting a can of soup. Other nights, it meant telling little Marshall stories about breakfast tomorrow. In one crumbling Detroit neighborhood, they finally stopped running, but here, Marshall stood out as one of the few white kids, making him a target. Bullies turned his school days into nightmares, whilst one beating left him with a serious concussion, pushing Debbie to sue the Roseville School Board in 1982. The court threw out her case, but the incident left deep scars, ones that would later bleed into lyrics that millions would hear. Young Marshall found strength in words, scribbling rhymes in torn notebooks, while his mother worked whatever job she could find. The same pain that threatened to break them sparked a fire in her son, fueling verses that would one day shake the music world. But for now, they were trapped in a cycle of poverty, each day fighting to keep their heads above water in a city that showed no mercy to single mothers and their dreams. Music, lawsuits, and attempted peace. In 1999, a song called My Name Is blasted through car stereos and headphones across America. Behind its catchy beat and clever rhymes lay the first public punch in what would become hip-hop's most famous family feud. Eminem had turned his pain into platinum records, but each verse about his mother cut deeper than any critic's words ever could. Debbie Nelson sat in her small apartment, stunned as she heard her son accuse her of substance misuse on national radio. The lyrics painted her as a monster, and soon, everywhere she went, strangers gave her cold looks. Her phone rang with reporters wanting comments about her parenting. Friends stopped calling. The shame felt like a heavy blanket she couldn't shake off. She fought back with a $10 million defamation lawsuit, hoping the courts would restore her reputation. But the legal papers, if they true, only added fuel to Eminem's creative fire. His response came in Cleaning Out My Closet, in a brutal track that twisted the knife further. He rapped about hoping she would burn in hell, his angry words echoing through countless speakers as fans worldwide learned their family's darkest secrets. Between court dates and depositions, Debbie tried telling her side of the story. She recorded Dear Marshall, a spoken word response track where her voice trembled between anger and heartbreak. She challenged her son to step forward and face their past together, but the song fell flat in a world already convinced by Eminem's version of events. The war escalated when Debbie published her memoir, My Son Marshall, My Son Eminem. Page after page detailed her struggles as a young mother, defending herself against his accusations. She wrote about birthday cakes she'd baked, school plays she'd attended, and small victories she'd celebrated with her son. But fans had already chosen sides, and book critics tore apart her attempts to set the record straight. In interviews, she started showing a softer side. Gone were the angry denials, replaced by careful words about mistakes and regrets. I'll never give up on my children, she told The Village Voice in 2008, her voice carrying the weight of years spent trying to rebuild burned bridges. She watched from afar as Eminem battled addiction, fought for custody of his daughter, and built his empire, sending quiet support through mutual friends. Every time Eminem achieved something new, Debbie tried reaching out. When he entered rehab, she sent letters. When he won awards, she sent congratulations through the press. When he struggled, she defended him from critics. But the wall between them stood firm, built from years of hurt feelings and public attacks. The closest they came to peace was during a rare 2010 interview where Eminem acknowledged the complexity of their relationship. He spoke about understanding some of her struggles better as an adult, though healing seemed as distant as ever. Even when Eminem entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2022, Debbie's proud video message met silence from her son. I knew you'd get there, she said to the cameras, hoping her words might somehow bridge the gap. But by then, both mother and son had learned the hard way that some chasms grow too wide to cross, even when built from nothing but words and wounded hearts. Yet while the bridge between mother and son lay in ruins, another family story bloomed in the shadows. But how did a scared little boy named Nathan become the one gift from Debbie Nelson that Eminem would forever cherish. Brotherhood and found family. In the quiet corners of Eminem's sprawling Detroit mansion, a different kind of family took root. His younger brother Nathan, once a frightened child in foster care, had found his way home. The same hands that wrote razor-sharp lyrics about their mother now made breakfast for a teenager hungry for stability. Their morning routine included basketball in the driveway, homework checks, and the kind of simple moments they'd missed as children. At 16, Nathan traded foster homes for his big brother's guidance. The mansion's walls heard new sounds, video game battles, late-night talks about girls, and Nathan's first attempts at making music. Eminem's daughter Haley dubbed him Brunkle, meaning brother and uncle, and the three formed their own tight circle, healing old wounds with new memories. Under his brother's wing, Nathan discovered his own voice. Taking the stage name Nate Kane, he stepped into recording booths where Eminem had once stood, but unlike his famous brother, Nathan's music came from a place of gratitude rather than anger. His lyrics told stories of second chances and found family, of a brother who became a father figure when the world had turned its back. Meanwhile, in another corner of the hip-hop world, Eminem found two more brothers. Dr. Dre, the producer who discovered him, became his musical father figure. Their bond went beyond platinum records and packed stadiums. When Dre lost his son, Andre, in 2008, Eminem stayed by his side, understanding the deep cuts that family tragedy leaves behind. 50 Cent completed their unlikely trio. Against industry advice, Eminem had fought to sign the hungry young rapper from Queens. M saw something in me that others missed, 50 would later say. Through gunshots, label disputes, and countless battles, they stood together. Their text group chat buzzed daily with jokes, song ideas, and the kind of honest talk that only brothers share. Late at night after concerts or studio sessions, these four men, M, Nathan, Dre, and 50, often gathered in Eminem's home studio. Their conversations flowed from music to fatherhood, from childhood scars to future dreams. Nathan would bring up memories of foster care, and M would grip his shoulder, silently promising never again. Dre would share wisdom from his decades in the game, while 50 cracked jokes to lighten heavy moments. They celebrated holidays together, their children playing while the adults cooked and laughed. And on Father's Day, Nathan gave M a card that read, "To the brother who became my dad." The tough rapper who'd once shocked the world with his angry rhymes wiped away tears when he read it. As years passed, this chosen family grew stronger. They showed up for album releases and school graduations, birthdays and bad days. When Nathan became a father himself, he copied his brother's parenting style, firm but loving, always present, breaking the cycle of absence they'd known as kids. Together, they built something rare in the flashy world of hip-hop, a genuine family bound not by blood alone, but by choice, understanding, and unwavering loyalty. In studios and mansions, they created the safe spaces they'd never had as children, proving that sometimes the strongest families are the ones we build ourselves. The final words. In the hushed aftermath of Debbie Nelson's passing, the hip-hop world held its breath, waiting for her famous son to break his silence. When Eminem's words finally came, they struck like lightning, simple, raw, and powerful. "I was a bad son, and I can't change that now. I'm sorry I didn't say this sooner." 7 words cracked his tough exterior, revealing the hurt child who had grown into a man carrying decades of regret. The statement caught fans off guard. Gone were the clever rhymes and angry verses. Instead, they heard the voice of Marshall Mathers, not the rap god Eminem, speaking directly from a place of loss and realization. In the studios of Aftermath Entertainment, Dr. Dre sat behind his mixing board, the same spot where he'd first heard the demo tape that would change hip-hop history. His response to his friend's pain came from years of watching Eminem wrestle with his family demons. M always thought he had time to be bitter, but time ran out, Dre shared, his usually steady producer's voice carrying a note of sadness. "I know how much he wanted to say he understood. She tried her best, even if it wasn't enough. Now he'll carry that regret." 50 Cent, known for his sharp tongue and fearless attitude, showed a gentler side when speaking about his mentor's loss. From his New York office, surrounded by platinum records they'd made together, he opened up about watching his friend face this final chapter with his mother. "I've seen him fight through so much," 50 said. "I know he regrets not taking the chance to show her he knew she was trying." The three men's words painted a picture of private conversations in recording booths and backstage rooms, where Eminem had perhaps shared doubts and second thoughts about his stance toward his mother. Their responses revealed late-night talks about family, forgiveness, and the heavy price of holding on to anger. Behind closed doors at his Detroit home, Friends say Eminem spent hours after his mother's passing going through old family photos. Some showed a young Debbie holding baby Marshall, both smiling before life's hardships drew their battle lines. Others captured moments with Nathan, the brother who became the bridge between son and mother, even when words failed. As winter settled over Missouri, where Debbie was laid to rest, the hip-hop community buzzed with discussions about family, forgiveness, and the things left unsaid. Radio DJs played Eminem's old tracks about his mother, but listeners heard them differently now. The anger in songs like "You Cleaning Out My Closet" felt heavier, tinged with the finality of unresolved pain. Dr. Dre and 50 Cent stayed close to their friend during these dark days, their presence reminding him that family comes in many forms. They shared stories about their own parents, about chances taken and missed, and about the tough lessons life teaches about forgiveness. In recording studios across Detroit, some say Eminem has been writing again, but unlike the angry verses of his youth, these new lyrics speak of regret, growth, and the harsh wisdom that comes with losing a parent before making peace. His story serves as a powerful reminder that time waits for no one, not even for those whose words can move millions. The final chapter of Eminem and Debbie's story ends not with a bang, but with a son's simple confession of regret, supported by the family he chose along the way. In hip-hop, where bravado often rules, their story teaches a different kind of truth about the courage it takes to admit mistakes, and how sometimes the hardest words to say are also the most important. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave nice comments, and remember to subscribe for more interesting content. Check out another interesting video by clicking on the one appearing on your screen right now.